Coming up on Bear News, we have some tips for accuracy on information relating to the Ukraine invasion.
How do you feel about your program being shut down? And I said, what are you talking about?
Students are reacting to program closures here at UNC.
I really want to get a Big Sky championship.
We profile a women's basketball rising star.
It's not just talk. I can really do it.
An original movement play premieres here on campus. Bear News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Bear News. I'm Josephine Walter. The war in Ukraine still continues. Reporter Andrea Grajeda tells us some misinformation that is spreading.
The Russian-Ukrainian war is one of the most well-documented wars in our lifetime. From satellite images, live feed broadcasts, and Ukrainian citizens documenting their experience online, there's a lot of information going around. In a time where social media and technology have allowed us to become so internationally connected, it's important to know what is true and what is false. Many images are being shared online, claiming to be photos from Ukraine, but they are not. TikTok and Facebook are banning misinformation on the war, but due to the extreme amount of information, several thousand people may see a post before it gets flagged. A Facebook post claimed that this photo was of Russian bombs in Ukraine, but it is actually from the Gaza Strip from an Israeli airstrike. Footage from the video game Arma 3 has also been posted, claiming to be footage from the war in Ukraine. The original post, posted on Facebook Gaming, had over 100,000 views before being taken down. Although most users who spread the misinformation are not doing it maliciously, but rather they are doing it because they did not fact-check. Next time you plan to share information about the Ukrainian-Russian war, stop and think. Confirm that the information in the post is true. Are you using unbiased sources? Have you used other fact-checking websites to confirm that the information is true? Though the average American citizen is not able to do much regarding the war, slowing down the spread of misinformation is just a small way you can help.
Misinformation can be so dangerous, and taking a few moments to double-check your sources can make a huge difference. Students and staff are still adjusting to the recent French, German, and European Studies program closures. Senior Neil Jeppesen is one of many who have expressed disappointment and confusion about the closures in the last 2 weeks.
I was actually having a conversation with some of my acquaintances from another department about a week and a half before the email went out from the dean and had been asked, how do you feel about your program being shut down? And I said, what are you talking about?
Jeppesen says the announcement was very sudden and left many questions unanswered.
There's certainly a lot of anxiety over, whether we'll all be able to graduate with our degrees. Several of the students in our program have just got here, for reasons of not having been able to graduate in the past from this university with their degrees. So I don't think anybody is really confident that when they say we'll teach you out, they actually mean it.
Even though university officials have told students they will be able to graduate with their intended degrees, students are still concerned.
They've been doing a lot of work to keep it quiet. That much I know. I mean, it's clear from the fact that my professors get 2 weeks more warning than I did. It's clear from the fact that the email I received was 2 sentences.
If you have been affected by the program closures and would like to have your concerns heard, please email bearnews98@gmail.com. For the month of March, UNC is celebrating Dreamer Awareness Month. DREAMER stands for Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minor Act. The act was first introduced in 2001 as a way for undocumented students under the age of 16 to start a path towards citizenship. Students began to refer to themselves as dreamers to shed themselves of the stereotypes and labels given to them. The Cesar Chavez Cultural Center will be hosting a variety of events this month to celebrate. They will be hosting a Lotteria and Immigration Trivia Night on Wednesday, March 9th. There will also be a UNC Unite workshop called Dreamer Zone on Wednesday, March 23rd. This workshop will focus on educating people about the experiences of students who self-identify as undocumented. On Tuesday, March 29th, UNC will host a keynote speaker, Julio Salgado, an undocumented queer activist who uses his art to call attention to the migrant rights movement. You can register for any of the free events through the Linktree on the CCC Instagram page at Cesar Chavez UNCO or through the link on the screen. Coming up, how musicians have responded to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. At Bear News, we aren't just celebrating Dreamer Awareness Month. With Women's History Month here at Bear News, we want to highlight women everywhere. Podcasts have become very popular over the past few years, and these women have something to say. The first female-led podcast is Call Your Girlfriend. Amnito So and Anna Friedman give their unfiltered hot take on everything women. Each episode leaves you feeling empowered and proud to be a woman. The next group of women we hope you check out are Samantha Misby and Annie Reese with their podcast Stuff Mom Never Told You. The two use research-based viewpoint to look at topics such as mental health, dating in the Me Too movement, and gender inequality. The last podcast we recommend is The Broad Experience. Journalist Ashley Milne-Tite explores topics related to women in the workplace. She dives into the good and ugly of being a working woman and offers stories and advice. Make sure to tune in to Bear News next Thursday when we cover women in the film industry. The whole world has been reacting to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. One group we don't really think about is musicians. So, Robin, how has the music world reacted to the recent news?
Well, Josie, musicians have reacted much like many others. News in the music world has always been tied to broader current events, whether it was the protest music of the 60s or the political suppression of hip-hop artists in the 80s. Even if we don't want to admit it, music doesn't exist in a vacuum. Throughout this week, several high-profile bands and artists have reacted to the shocking news about Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine by canceling Russian tour dates. The list of artists participating in the boycott is still growing, but so far it includes Green Day, The Killers, Iggy Pop, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and Louis Tomlinson, just to name a few. Others have utilized the power of music to express solidarity with Ukrainian civilians through art. This week, Saturday Night Live chose to swap the usual political satire cold open for a solemn performance by the Ukrainian Chorus Dumka of New York. The song choice was Prayer for Ukraine, a nationalistic anthem with significant historical context. In the early 20th century, it was used as a rallying cry in the 1917 Ukrainian War of Independence. In the 90s, it was used as a celebratory song for Ukraine's peaceful independence from the former Soviet Union. Now, the song yet again marks a crucial moment in Ukraine's history as the country continues to battle for independence. The SNL performance is chilling enough, with the song's soaring harmonies and unique dissonances filling an echoing stage, but knowing the full context gives even more weight to a powerful political and artistic statement. Well, Bear News will keep you updated on the invasion of Ukraine as events unfold. Tuesday marked the first day of Women's History Month, and we want to shout out an amazing female artist each week of March. Starting off with someone who's been a favorite of mine for over 3 years now, Arabella Rauch, aka Josen. Josen is a singer, producer, and composer who seamlessly blends neoclassical music with icy electronics. If I had to sum up her music in one word, otherworldly. Using the medium of electronic music, including thumping beats normally reserved for dance clubs, she instead chooses to make subtle atmospheric pieces that make you forget your surroundings. When things feel like too much, I often find myself putting on her 2019 album, In the Blank Space. While the music is far from cheery, songs like Evaporation wash over you with warm, near-perfect mixing and constant humming drones to perfectly complement Josin's ethereal vocal soars. In anxious times, I highly recommend other music fans to put on Josin's music and allow themselves to be absorbed into the blank space. What new music do you want to see covered on Bear News Tunes? Let us know at bearnews98@gmail.com, or as always, find us on Instagram at bearnewsunco.
Josin sounds super interesting. I'll have to make sure to give her a listen. You know, legend says vampires turn into bats. The new Batman movie, starring Robert Pattinson, seems to be taking that legend quite seriously. Bear News reporter Andrea Grajeda has more details about the upcoming film.
We have seen many iterations of Batman, from George Clooney, Ben Affleck, Christian Bale, and even a Lego one. And soon, Robert Pattinson is going to take on the mantle. The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, is going to be part of the DC Extended Universe, meaning it's going to be in a completely different universe than the typical Ben Affleck Batman that we have seen in Justice League. Pattinson's Batman has only been the masked vigilante for about 2 years. In this movie, he teams up with Catwoman, played by Zoe Kravitz, and together they're going to try to stop the infamous serial killer, the Riddler. However, along the way, they discover that they might need to unshed some of Bruce Wayne's dark family secrets. There was some original hesitancy when Robert Pattinson was first announced to be playing the new Batman.
Even my agents and stuff just thought like, oh, this is interesting. I mean, I thought you only wanted to play like just total freaks all the time. Like, he is a freak, this is another freak.
Reeves' iteration of Batman will not be showing Batman's origin story, where he loses both of his parents.
There's something which I always thought about Batman. I thought it's really, really sad. It's a tragedy. That's one of the reasons it feels kind of different, because it's like it's year 2, we're not gonna do the origin story again.
ABC News says, The Batman aims high, even when it misses the mark. The film's ambition is undeniable. By returning the Batman to his DC Comics as the world's greatest detective, Pattinson distinguishes himself from other movie Batmen and puts him in a league with the best of them, Michael Keaton and Christian Bale. The Batman comes out in theaters on March 4th. I've got my tickets. Are you going to be there?
Thank you, Andrea. I know the next movie I'll be watching in theaters. Ready for a change in temperature? Find out more about the weather after this.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. Surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
I've personally been really enjoying this warmer weather. Angel, can we expect more of this?
Yes, Josie. As we flip the calendar into March, we should be expecting some warmer weather, but I'm sure I speak for most when I say we didn't expect it to arrive this early. This week, the Greeley area saw an unusually warm weather pattern move in as we passed by the halfway point of the groundhog's prediction. Monday saw a near 30-degree temperature increase as sunshine and clear skies moved last week's cold snap out of the area. Temperatures stayed in the upper 60s on Tuesday and Wednesday, with clear skies making for a couple of beautiful days around campus. Looking at the days ahead, the warm trend will continue on Friday with the high around 66 degrees and partly cloudy skies before dropping into the low 30s at night. We will cool down just a bit over the weekend as the winter storm moves through the Front Range, bringing plenty of wind and a good mix of rain and snow. Saturday looks to be settling around 38 degrees with a near 60% chance of snow that will drop just below 20 degrees as the sun goes down. The storm will continue on Sunday as the chances for snow in Greeley decrease a bit before the temperature jumps back into the mid to high 30s on Monday. While it may be time to hang up that fluffy winter coat, we are not quite ready for the t-shirts and shorts to return just yet. Stay tuned for Bear News for more weather updates as we inch closer to our spring break.
I gotta be honest with you, Angel. I was really hoping for warmer weather. I'll make sure to keep my sweaters on hand. Have you heard about UNC's basketball superstar? Find out all about her up next.
Before I started at Seattle, it was disorganized.
My lessons were the same all the time.
I think I've become much more strategic about drawing on students' prior experience in order to enhance their learning.
Making sure that my standards as a professor were very high, but also enabling students to be successful in my class with a variety of strategies.
Quite frankly, one of the most important to me has been my addressing the diversity, equity, inclusion issues.
I think definitely keeping in mind that I need to engage the students in what I'm teaching.
I feel like students feel more enthusiastic about the class, and then they come more, and when they come more, they're going to do better.
I think the most valuable thing that I've gotten out of Seattle has been kind of the community of support.
It was actually knowing that every single semester I need to engage something that makes me a better teacher.
Seattle is a great way to enhance your learning, especially if you're struggling with certain areas.
So, Hunter, I hear we have a superstar player on the women's basketball team.
Yes, Josie, UNC certainly has a standout player. She's been a big part of the Bears' offense this year and has become a staple in the starting lineup. I sat down with the young star this week to learn more about her breakthrough season.
To Eisenbart, they'll skip it out top Simmental. Simmental puts it through!
If you've been watching Bears basketball this year, you've heard that name more than a few times. Sophomore guard Hannah Simmental has been one of the bright spots for UNC this year, but for Simmental and her family, getting buckets is nothing new.
Yeah, so my siblings both play basketball, and my dad played basketball in college, so I was just always around it. My mom was more the theater and ballet side, so she was my little buddy at first, but just being around my siblings so much and going to the gym all the time with them, it kind of was inevitable for me to kind of go back to it. So yeah, that's kind of what drew me back to basketball.
It's safe to say Hannah made the right choice. Simmental is the team's leading scorer, averaging over 14 points per game. But for Simmental, the final score is more important than her stat line.
I just try and do whatever I can for my team and to get the win. And some nights it's shooting the ball really well. Other nights it's playing defense or running the offense. So I think it depends on every night, the scenario of what kind of player I'm going to be. But I always just come with a competitive attitude, and I think that's kind of what gives me an edge and what helps my team.
And Simmental is certainly doing her part. She leads the Big Sky in three-point percentage and is second in three-point field goals per game. Simmental also passed the 500 career point mark this year, but Simmental has her sights set on an even bigger goal.
I really want to get a Big Sky championship. That's my biggest goal. I think that would just be phenomenal. I've never experienced something like that. Like I said, in high school, I didn't win a championship, so I haven't really had that feeling since middle school when I won. So I really just want to win a Big Sky championship, and the 500 points was really cool. I had no idea that I was even close. So I think it would be awesome, to reach that 1,000 or even 1,500 by then in my career. But ultimately, I want to win a Big Sky championship.
The future is bright for Simmental, and with her production, she could very well lead the Bears to the promised land. But at the end of the day, Simmental's passion and drive for the game pushes her to be the best she can be. And for the Bears, Simmental's evolution can only mean great things to come.
Simmental has certainly set the bar high for herself and has all the tools to be successful. You could catch her and the rest of the women's basketball team on Friday when the seniors hit the court one last time in Greeley against Montana State with tip-off at 6 p.m. Now, to a little bit different topic. On Tuesday, Major League Baseball announced that the first 2 series of the regular season would be canceled due to the owners and players union not being able to agree on a new collective bargaining agreement. Now, when I read and observe this situation, I can't help but draw comparisons to the current state of our government. When I turn on the news, I see politicians arguing with each other every single day over topics like foreign policy, infrastructure, and national security. And every single day, it's heated arguments and politicians taking shots at the opposing political party for their judgment being completely wrong in their opinion. So when I heard baseball couldn't come to an agreement, it didn't surprise me. Was I disappointed? Absolutely. I was looking forward to going to a couple games down at Coors Field once the season started. I wanted to drink cold beer and eat nachos while I watched the Rockies hit home runs. But now I have to wait. Heck, I may have to wait until 2023 to go to a game if the owners and players don't come to an agreement. But when I think about how this could be resolved, I think about the most successful businesses and organizations in this country. The organizations that are the most successful and continue to grow put people first. Before the pandemic, when our economy was thriving and unemployment was at 3.5%, it was because the policies in place were structured to put people first. It put more money into Americans' pockets. It didn't take money out. If a business is succeeding, it should reward its workers for what they're contributing. So if a business is seeing their profits rise, why wouldn't their employees reward them for their hard work? Baseball has seen their revenue go up, but player pay has continued to decrease over the last 4 years. The players are the game. People come to see the players play the game they love. Wouldn't you think the owners care about their employees? They clearly don't. They want to keep the players' pay at bay so they can continue to gain profits. So this standoff only ends when both sides are willing to look and understand where the other side is coming from. Like our government, both sides must work with each other and not against each other to get back on the field. Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, released a statement following the failed attempt to reach an agreement. He said, "The clubs and our owners fully understand just how important it is to our millions of fans that we get the game on the field as soon as possible. To that end, we want to bargain and we want a deal with the Players Association as quickly as possible." Well, Commissioner, I hope you, the owners, and the players can deliver on that statement, because the future of baseball is at stake. Now, we may not be able to watch baseball, but we could still watch basketball. With that in mind, let's take a look at some highlights from UNC's men's basketball team as they host their senior night against Idaho. With all starting 5 positions filled by seniors, they understand that teamwork makes the dream work, with Bodie Hume finishing that off. Then Dalen Kuntz drives into the paint, goes in hard, and finishes for the and-one. But here's Bodie. He gets it over to Drew Kuchshausen, who finds open space and nails that three-pointer. Now, here's Matt Johnson. Wait, pulls up, boop. He made that happen with some patience. Later on, Dalen Kuntz, dancing in the paint, spins around, throws it up, and he gets it to go for another and-one. Now on defense, Bodie Hume gets the steal and throws it down with the left hand. Hume and the seniors get it done one last time in Greeley by a final score of 98-94. Here's head coach Steve Smiley after the game on the Bears winning another close one.
Yeah, I was really proud of the guys. Every game is its own different animal. It might be a low possession game, low scoring, high scoring. For us, obviously we played so well offensively in that first half, and I don't think we played bad defensively. It was 53-40. A couple little mistakes here and there, but I was really proud of just our effort.
The Bears close out the regular season on the road with games against Montana and Montana State before heading to Boise on March 9th for the Big Sky Tournament. All right, Josie, here's what I'm thinking. If the Bears play well in Idaho, they have a good shot to get into the tournament.
You really think so, Hunter?
Absolutely. Let's not put any expectations on them, but it's officially March, so anything can happen during tournament time.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Up next, find out more about what the UNC Theater Department has to offer.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources, call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Each year, UNC presents large productions on its Norton Theater and Langworthy Theater stages. But these shows are only a small portion of what the School of Theater Arts and Dance has to offer. Bear News reporter Shelley Schwartz covered one of UNC's most recent theater performances.
Developing a show takes time. Cooperation.
Every bit of it is laced with individuality from every person in the show, bottom to top.
And a director like Kenyon James Bernard with a vision and the will to make it happen.
Numerous student shows happen throughout campus over the course of the year, one of which, Unspoken, is currently in its final week of rehearsals.
Unspoken is an original work by Bernard that touches on mental health, growing up, and the things left unsaid. The show focuses on a young black male named KJ and explores his family dynamic through interactions with each other, as well as characters representing emotions like pain, love, and hope.
Bernard says this piece isn't a play or a musical. They also say it isn't a choreo poem, so what is it?
Because of the show's intertwining elements of movement and script, Bernard has deemed Unspoken as a movement play. Though Bernard has directed shows before, this is the first play they've written themselves.
To know that I can really do it, it's not just talk, I can really, really do it, is special.
Like most shows, Unspoken quickly came and went. Its debut performance was also its last when it performed on Tuesday, March 1st in Grey Gym. Shelley Schwartz, Bear News.
Thank you, Shelley, for showing us what other amazing things UNC Theater has to offer. Here on Bear News, we like to feature students from all walks of life that go on above and beyond at UNC. This week's featured student of the week is Audrey Tubbs. Tubbs is graduating this May with a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental and Sustainability Studies with a minor in Earth Science. She is from Grand Rapids, Michigan, but has traveled around the United States her whole life. In Tubbs' free time, she likes to work out at the recreation center, hang out with friends, and travel. If you know any of your peers who should be featured Student of the Week, please send them to the email on the screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Josephine Walter, and we'll see you on Tuesday for Bear News Now.